think y'all should be able to hear me. I'm not too sure. Let me know if y'all can't hear me though. But welcome into another iteration of our veterans benefits workshops. We have to change this up because we're not doing Q&A. This is for the Q&A days are going to be days where we do Q&As. We're going to be doing more stuff separately, so just need to change that up because that is not what we're going with here. This is hidden. This can go up here. So that way everybody knows that it's a workshop. Appreciate that, Mike. I gotta I gotta check sometimes because there's been times where I've started these streams and I've been talking to myself for like I would say like a good like 5 minutes where I guess people were like filling in and stuff, and I was just like talking about certain stuff, and then I realized Mike wasn't even on. So that's why I think it's like a go-to thing I gotta do now. Like, hey, is my mic working? Can y'all hear me? Am I good? Okay, good. And then from there I know I can continue because that's something we've had at times with the streaming. If it's not the internet, sometimes it's my computer where either you can't hear me or the internet breaks it up where I'm so choppy where it's like you see me, then it just like glitches to the next part. So I just got to double check that everybody's able to like hear me and understand me so that way we're on the same page. But yeah, we haven't done anything too different. Like I said, there's been a whole bunch of stuff coming out. I am just trying to, what's the best way of putting it? I'm trying to make sure I have the right information to be able to make sure that I'm passing it out to you guys. Cause there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of hooping and hollering. Especially when it comes to these upcoming possible changes, there's so much to go off of. There's so many like it's overwhelming me kind of because it's like I'm being pulled in so many different places because there's so many things that are coming out. Like we're gonna continue to do the 2025 federal benefits, but we have to look at it in a way of this is what they announced, this is what they're giving us. Hold on, let me set this up. And this is what we're going off of now. Some of these things will come into fruition, some of them will not. Some are possible options. Like one of the big things that was going on was with the CBO that I've seen a couple of people posting on. It's the possible proposed changes that the budgeting office has proposed to make changes that would benefit, I guess, the government when it comes to like saving money and stuff. Like I said, most of this stuff is proposed issues. It's stuff that's in the works. Some is certified, some is not. Until we don't have a set date, that's what people need to go to. The thing is it's not mostly about, yes, these changes are going to happen. It's, are you prepared for these changes? Are you aware what these changes might be? Have you spoken or sent the email or tried to reach out to your representative or reached out to somebody to just be like, you know what? Hey, man, I don't agree with this. I have a problem with this. I was just like me and all these vets. And that's the thing, is just like trying to consolidate more veterans together to get this. To be able to get stuff in motion, we have to be able to speak on it. And that's what I think one of the things that we're having problems is as veterans. We're not communicating with each other to communicate to the people that are making these changes. If they're veterans, cool. If they're not veterans, then it's kind of hard for veterans to be like, you know what, you can say this or you should change that. You haven't experienced any of it. You haven't dealt with any of it. So it's kind of hard to deal with it in those manners where it's is trying to fulfill that stuff. See what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard to fulfill documentation, what we're going through, all these visible issues that are still ongoing without realizing the fact that, hold on, I'm setting up that TikTok one so people can join in there and ask questions. It's basically that interaction where we have information, we have possible information, and then we have what's actually happening. So it's three different things that veterans are dealing with right now. The problem is that one of them is that, hey, these are the possible things. These are the possible things. Most of the time, this is causing more anxiety towards veterans than it is actually helping. Because the thing is it's a lot of information that's being pushed out, but it's not a lot of information that's actually benefiting veterans. So if I'm telling you, oh, we're going to change the mental health, okay, elaborate. Well, they're going to change it so that now it's 4 different domains when it comes to justifying your mental health awareness. It's no longer going to be your occupational hazard or your society, how you deal with society and like social skills and stuff like that. Now it's going to be broken into 4 different domains. You tell people that, most veterans still don't know. What are you talking about? Like 4 domains? It's like, what is, well, now it's breaking it down into 4 different categories, and that category, each category will give you a number rating. Then that number rating combined will get you to a certain percentage. That's what's being spoken about, because it's the DSM-5 instead of still being on the DSM-4, which is what our Code of Federal Regulations is currently on. But at the same time, it's like veterans are just like, oh my gosh, should I file now? Should I file later? What should I do? I'm like stuck. I don't know what to do. It was just like, do you have the documentation you need? Do you have your diagnosis? Do you have your medical records? Have you spoken to a psychiatrist, a therapist? Have you spoken to anybody about it? Have you gotten it documented? And that's the thing. Those are the more vital questions than what are these upcoming changes? Because with these upcoming changes, you can have all these changes. If you don't fit the bill to actually have any of these mental health ratings change or evaluate you or help you, it don't matter. What are the 4 categories? I need to look it up. I was trying to find that. Haven't pulled it up yet, JC. Let me look it up. Because it was basically it's on the regulations thing. If you go to regulations.gov, it has a breakdown there. Now, finding it, a whole different story. But that's what we're going to look into. So we'll look into that today also, while we're going through the federal benefits. But that's one of the things that is just like 4 different categories. Those different categories are going to change. Regulations, if I could spell. I was like, those are regulations that that's a regulation that's going to change. But if you don't have the right documentation, you don't have the right stuff, it doesn't matter what these changes are. You still have to make sure you're doing your due diligence to ensure you have all the shit you need. If you don't have all the stuff you need as a veteran, it doesn't matter what the rule changes are. Because look, there was a rule change to the digestive system where now GERD gets you more than what it used to. And there's changes with the digestive system that they added. But most veterans didn't pay attention to that because they didn't see that as, oh, this isn't a high value claim. And that's where a lot of people mess up. It was just like, you got to remember, all these claims add up. It's not those high dollar value claims, because unless you have it that you are like 100% PTSD or 100% mental health and 100 or 70% on something else, that's how you get those big jumps, and then those high dollar value come in handy. But if you don't have, let's say your mental health rating is only like a 50 or a 30, even then you can have 450s and you still might not be there. So it's just like, you got to keep that in mind, that you want to add everything there. If you got diagnosed with GERD, Corinthia, make sure you have that documentation. Make sure you putting it in there. Make sure that you have it, but it's a service connection. When are those changes going into effect? JC, the problem with that is that, remember how everybody was like trying to like hype it up, like, oh shit, you're going to lose your benefits. You're going to lose your benefits. It's going to change in April. What did they say now? Now they changed it to August with the mental health. They haven't said anything yet. They haven't made any changes that I've seen on there for it. I need to find, where's that damn page? Because I know I saved it. Thought I had bookmarked it. But maybe I didn't and I forgot. But all these changes were supposed to take place in April when it was the final action date. No, mental health, everything is still going to be the same. It's just that the criteria is going to be different, because it's going to be like, hey, how is it socially impairing you? is one category. How does work impairment? A different category. And I forget the other two. That's what I'm trying to look. Didn't start experiencing until I deployed first to Iraq and then Afghanistan. Corinthia, as long as you have to make sure that you have information on there. If y'all are on TikTok, it's easier for y'all to go onto my YouTube, click on the YouTube link in my bio, and y'all can see my full picture and y'all can see everything I'm showing y'all on screen. It's a lot easier. I just do it on TikTok because it's easier to communicate and it throws me out to more veterans out there. The main page is on YouTube so that way you can find that information. But let me see if I can. It was what, AR-72, I think. Because if you go to like, let's see. Because you can go to regulations.gov, right? And you can start like minimizing the stuff that you're looking for. So Department of Veteran Affairs, you click on it. You click on it and you can change it to document type. The document type will say, hold on, why am I not showing y'all this? Give me a second. Okay, here we go. So why is it on this one not showing? That's that, right? So I add window capture. Give me a second, y'all. So I could put this. Okay. For some reason, it's like faded. So I apologize in advance because it's kind of faded. But this is so y'all can see it. So now y'all can visually see, like, this is the page. So there's different stuff and there's proposed rules. Out of these proposed rules on this website, we basically have, Plot, appreciate you. We have 142 different ones, 142 that are proposed, and it'll give you a date for it. So here it goes for proposed rule improving accreditation. Proposed rule schedule for ratings disabilities, neurological conditions, and convulsive disorders. We're just gonna click on this one to see what it is. And I think it's like a downloadable page or something. Or is it close? Why can't I click on it? There it goes. Second one. Gotta download the file. Okay. But those are things that pop up here. So if you're interested in finding out possible changes and stuff like that, this is where you need to look at. Because this is basically regulations.gov is going to hold everything that is being proposed when it comes to change of regulation, which is what the CFR is. It's a regulation. Have you seen any impacts currently due to the administration? I am not going to say I can visibly see any changes yet. Because the thing is it's only been 2 weeks. When it comes to changes that are proposed and being put into place, that's not going to be a overnight situation. When it comes to changing the budget, changing the secretary, removing or changing the veterans, the women's veterans director, or who was in charge of that, the person, I forget the other office within the VA that they decided to remove. When those two, if you go on the YouTube, in my bio, there's a link on there that it should have my YouTube link on there. If you look at those things, those are things that are going to take time. Because the thing is you see, is like when we served in the military, you had that transition period where it was like that new commander was taking over and that commander was doing the, layouts, inventories, making sure the property book was squared away and all that stuff. That transition period. I don't think that happens like that when it comes to Veterans Affairs. With Veterans Affairs stuff, it's like, hey, you had this job, either you got fired or you got relieved. Maybe you got notified ahead of time. Maybe you didn't. If you knew a new administration was coming in, you definitely knew you were going to lose your job. The question was, when were you going to lose your job is the other thing. You don't know when you were going to lose your job. Let's see. So opening this, oh, dang, this is a long ass. There's a lot of reading I don't feel like doing right now. But okay, so here it is. Organic diseases of central guidance for rating organic diseases of central nervous system is located under this. And it just gives you the different ratings, I guess. So it's saying that it removed this one, but it gives you a breakdown of what the proposed changes are for palsy, stroke, hermatomelia. I can't even say these words. Thank you. And these things there. So this is just information, but this is what their proposed changes for that. Now the thing is you got to remember when those proposed changes, it's that this is what they want to push. This is what they're thinking. Hey, this is a good idea to do. Thing is it goes through the process and they check it and they'll be like, you know what, this don't make any sense, or this isn't good, or stuff like that. So that's where you gotta check it. It was A72. While Trump is in office, our benefits and concerns will be continually because currently the VA is part of the hiring freeze. We need. So let's get this understood. With any change in administration, the VA always has a bumpy road first couple of months, no matter what. If there's a talk when a new administration comes in talking about budget reconciliation or efficiency, that's when it gets scarier for veterans, because the thing is then that means a lot of stuff is out on the table. The hiring freeze does affect us because of the fact that, like I said before, when it comes to changes, when it comes to hiring judges, hiring more VA raters, hiring more CMP examiners, all that stuff, that's going to happen. But if the budget is reduced or it isn't enhanced, that's where we have a problem, because now we still have the same amount of people trying to service twice the amount or more people that they were servicing before. See, because some of these are old too, like proposed rule vocational rehabilitation and employment program change, like stuff like that. These are the more recent ones. I can't find. Let me see, because those are proposed rules. But there's a ton of it. I used to have it. No, I forget where the hell I put it. But I was just like, you're already getting services. So we're already getting services. The thing is they're trying to expand it for community care, right? Because that's the biggest gripe that veterans have right now. The biggest gripe veterans have with the VA is like, oh, I got a doctor that's across the street from me that could do what they're doing, but they want to send me 2 hours to a doctor. That's one of the bigger concerns right now that every veteran has. And a lot of veterans are saying, oh, the VA is shit because of it. The problem with that is we need money for that. We need funding. You can't just hire doctors that don't work in the network and just get them to work for you. They have to go into contract with the VA and say, hey, you know what? I'll work with the VA to service veterans in my area if veterans need to be serviced in my area. That's how it works. It's not a I need community care, so I'm gonna go to this doctor and then I'm gonna go to the VA and then the VA is gonna pay. No, it doesn't work that way. Because the thing is each doctor charges a certain amount, right? Depending on the specialty, depending on what it is, it may get more expensive. You as a veteran want that care, right? So at the moment, the VA can only afford to send you 2 hours away. If we were already $6 billion behind because of all this PACT Act push and stuff like that, imagine now when we are hitting more time period where all these 9/11, post 9/11, Afghan and Iraq veterans are starting to get out. There's going to be an influx of claims in there that nobody wants to talk about and nobody's like realizing. A lot of these people are hitting that 20-year mark and they're deciding, you know what? It's time for me to go. I did my time. I got my retirement. I'm going to get 100% because I've been tuning into Just Cruise, or I've been tuning into these other channels, and it's just like, you know what? I'm prepared to file my disability claims. So they're going to get out. At the same time, there's still going to be CMP examiners. At the same time, there's still going to be the VA rater that just happens to fuck shit up. And that VA rater is going to mess that up. And then what are you going to go? Fall into the appeals process. Now the appeals process is on a 3-year backlog. So now you getting out in 2025, meaning you wouldn't, if you got something wrong, like if you don't get the first time go and it doesn't get clear right away, you are now going to fall into a 3-year backlog. So now think about that. You filed in 2025, but you won't be able to get your benefits. Well, you'll have some benefits to be seen, but you won't get a solidified answer till 2028. The back pay gonna be nice. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, what happens if you went those 3 years going through that appeal process and they still find that you were wrong? Or they still found that you were denied? Or they still found that you weren't service connected? Then it's going through the whole process again. So it's just like, those things are one of the things that affect us as veterans with this administration. It's not only just because it's Donald Trump. That's what any administration. If we don't have the budget, if Donald Trump, let's say Donald Trump does his 4 years and we still in a budget crunch, and then in the 4 years, the next president that comes over says, you know what, we're going to fund the crap out of the VA. Then from there, no hiring freeze, hire whoever you need, community, all that stuff. How much do you think that bill would be? Because you got to think about it like this. We got 19 million veterans alive right now, out all over the world, all different ages, all different eras. Only 9 million, I think they just stated that it was 9.1 million. 9.1 million are actually using the VA healthcare services. And that was an influx of about almost 2 million because of the PACT Act. So now imagine we added all 10 million veterans, or had all 19 million veterans. If your appointment right now was taking 3 to 4 months, imagine if we add another 10 million people to see the same doctors, but not necessarily in your area, but sometimes it's those people in your area. And that's what people don't realize. We don't have doctors. We don't grow doctors. We don't grow doctors. We grow service members. We grow veterans. Every year, there's at least veterans being added to the list. No matter what year you are in, that year added veterans to the veteran numbers. Doctors, how long does it take to go to school? And that's just sometimes to just be a general doctor. Now, let's say you're going into a specialized cause. That goes even further. That takes time. That costs money. It costs money for that doctor to become that doctor. And now it's going to cost money for us to pay that doctor. If we can't pay that doctor, we can't get that health care. So that's why we got to understand that a lot of these changes, it takes time. How long, like not being able to hire more people, how does that affect us in a couple of months? Because that means that, hey, if you started hiring people now, you got to do it. At the same time, you got these programs now that are being removed. All the DEI programs being removed. Some have been removed, some haven't. Some they're talking about, some they haven't talking about. That's all budget issues. That's money going here, money going there. If there's budget, if there was a DEI budget that was doing these programs, the question is why are you if you're cutting certain programs, where is the money being reinvested to from these programs? Because the thing is it still falls under the VA budget. The questions we need to start asking is like, yo, where's the money going? If you're taking away from DEI, does that mean it's going to whatever it's going to? Is it going so you can answer that? Oh, my man. He's on TikTok. I'm on YouTube though. I got my buddy here that serves. He works as a VSR. So I need to have you on these lives, man. I need to have you jump on one of these on YouTube so we can have just a conversation and have questions and have people on here and just ask you what you can answer basically. And that way people will get the answers that they need, because then it's just like, look, this is coming from a person that works directly in the VA now. So that way it's the conversation of like, hey, this is information you're getting, but you're also getting it from somebody that's in the system doing it. So that's something that we need to pay attention to. But yeah, these are the things that people need to understand. There's money here, there's money there. Everything has to be solidified. Everything has to be put together. The PACT Act is still gaining claims. You still got people fighting for PACT Act issues. You got a bunch of people that are going to get out of the military because of Iraq and Afghanistan. And that's going to be an influx of people. That's going to be more disability claims. That's going to be more healthcare, especially if you're in an area where you are consolidated with veterans. So if you stayed around a military installation and you go into the VA, you're all using that same resource. It's different if you go and live somewhere out of nowhere, out in the middle of nowhere. If you go and you live there and now all of a sudden you need a specialist of some sort, you're going to have to travel to get that specialist unless you have a specialist there. And even then, just because you have the specialist there doesn't mean that they're in the VA network. It's the same way as us military service members. Imagine not being in the military and you have just regular medical insurance. With medical insurance, you can go to a doctor, but they have to be within your network. If that military provider or that doctor is not in your military network, it is what? You get hit with that out of network charge, which who knows how much more they want to charge you for. So imagine looking at it that way, but within the VA. We got our doctor here, but you went to a doctor that wasn't a part of us. Now we got to pay for it. So that's where people need to understand that. I still can't remember. Is it AQ80? I thought it was AQ82. AQ82. Department of Veteran Affairs. But yeah, man, that's what people need to realize. It's there's a lot of stuff. Although no AQ72 schedule rating disabilities, ear, nose, throat, and audiology disabilities, special provisions. This was September 12 of 2024 that was put in there. I am a retired Army medical provider. I am eligible for Medicare, TRICARE, and 100% disability. I have found many doctors don't take government-funded insurance. Robert, that is correct. And that is where we find a bunch of problems. And that's something that veterans, I think, need. I need veterans to get that explained. I think veterans need to understand that a lot of that, if the doctor doesn't take anything like that, they don't want it. Even though I don't know why they want to take a government funded one, because it's funded. That shit is they're gonna get paid. The problem is that now you are tied with this. So you have a contract to however they service the contracts, however they pay it, you are now working with the government instead of just working with your own thing. So now you still have to deal with the association of working with the VA while servicing yourself. So some doctors don't want to do that. Some doctors decided that they wanted to open their medical practice for themselves because they didn't want to be associated with, they didn't want to work through the hospital. It's the same thing and it happens. But I think that's something that veterans need to that has to be preached out more to veterans so that they understand. Not every doctor takes or wants TRICARE or wants to even, some places don't even take Chant VA or don't even want to process Chant VA. It's a secondary insurance. And some people just look at you like, what the fuck is Chant VA? What's TRICARE? Some people never heard of it because they're not around military towns. So if you came from an area that's not military known or military installation bound, you're going to run into that issue where they don't know what you're talking about. See, so this is the revised schedule of ratings for disabilities, part 4. So this is just basically saying adding, like if they're adding codes, taking codes away, like airways disorders, diagnostic code, constrictive bronchiolitis or obliterative bronchiolitis. Now that's 665, because you got to remember when you look at it, but these are just changes for this. And there's certain things, but that's where you got to pay attention to, because the regulations is where it's going to change. That's where the stuff is going to go into. That's where it's going to factor into all these changes. But it doesn't matter the administration. Like I know some people are not happy with Donald Trump. I know a lot of people weren't happy with Joe Biden. But we got to start realizing as veterans and start paying attention that it doesn't only deal with the president. It deals with the budget. It deals with what Congress wants to put into play. It deals with what budget the Congress feels like we should have. All those things are mitigating factors, and they all turn into what veterans deal with no matter what. At the end of the day, you as a veteran will deal with this stuff no matter what. Whether it's a increase to the budget, a decrease to the budget, an increase in healthcare, a decrease in healthcare, all those things matter, and all those things will make changes. All those things will influence how we go moving forward. Most people don't understand that, and they don't want to pay attention to that. They don't want to listen to it. The easiest thing is like, oh, I'm gonna blame this administration, or I'm gonna blame that administration. See, this is the regulatory impact analysis for nose, ear, throat, and this was in 2022, where most of the stuff was mentioned because they started noticing they were going to make these changes. So this is just showing that. But like I said, this is the fiscal year, and that's how it's showing it for 2022. This is stuff that they've been looking at for some time, and that's what I need people to also understand. It's just like some of these changes have to happen. Some of these changes shouldn't happen. But if you stay quiet about it, it doesn't matter what. Doesn't matter. You're just going to deal with it, right? That's not how we need to operate. A lot of people don't want government stuff. Some people want small government. Some people want larger government. That's understandable. But at the end of the day, when it comes to these budget constraints, these budget changes, it doesn't matter if it's Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, George W. Bush, Barack Obama. At the end of the day, if we are not voicing it to our congressmen, calling the Committee of Veteran Affairs, those representatives in there, if they're in your state, because most of the time they won't even interact with you. Oh, you ain't in my state, don't worry about it. But if you say, hey, I'm a veteran, us veterans, I have a list of veterans. I started a petition list of the veterans that do not want this to happen. We have the ability to do that. So Robert Bejarano, they are usually paid half what other insurances will pay. Also, going to a military medical facility is not an option. They only provide services to active duty, rightly so. No, yeah, I understand that. But that's the thing. That's where its service is lost. Because you have the military already, but you can only use those facilities on an installation or for military personnel to be taken care of that are active duty. If these people ain't getting paid enough, and they're getting paid half of what the insurance is paid to service veterans, they don't want that shit. It's like I said, why, like with many service members do their time, serve their country, decide to get out, and what do? They decide to go contracting. If you were combat arms and you were just kicking down doors the whole time, damn, you gonna pay me twice the amount to do the same thing I was already doing? That's a no-brainer. Same thing with doctors. You're going to pay me half the amount I can make if I were to just work on my own as a doctor. Why would I stay with the VA? That's why it's tough, and people don't understand that. Everybody's trying to get paid. We can't deny that. Everybody's trying to get paid. You, if you are trying to reach 100% permanent and total, why? Because you're trying to get paid. The same way these doctors is trying to get paid. They are experts. They are surgeons, stuff like that. I'm not going to work in a place that's going to pay me less. The private sector will always have a leg up on the government. We know that. We know that. But the thing is when it comes to certain things like this is where you need to reevaluate the payment structure and do slight tweaks. Because the medical professionals, you should be getting paid close to what the private sector would be paying you. Because then it entices those private sectors to come into the veteran services. If they don't, we're gonna have less and less doctors. Or you put it on the back end, like where Robert was saying that they get paid half of what the insurances pay them the same amount. At the end of the day, what people need to realize is the price is gonna go up. Cost is going up no matter whether you like it or not. The changes to the Code of Federal Regulations, that's gonna change stuff. This was Gulsons. When I went in, they gave me a piss test and I popped for THC because I didn't have my pain meds when the doctor was out. Hold on. So you were out of town and you went to the emergency room. You had gallstones. You went in, they gave you a piss test and you pissed hot for THC. Out of town, they don't know if you will see that test. And they don't know if you will see that test I took. Well, he stopped. I can't answer specific questions like that, Redakuma. Because the thing is when it comes to situations like that, if you are, for anything medical wise, that's a conversation that you need to have with your provider or with your medical thing. Because the thing is I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they put in there. I don't know what they said in your medical records. You have to make sure you find out what's in your medical records. What did they answer? What are the chances are? Like, look, if you pop top for THC, were you in a legal marijuana state? Were you not in a legal marijuana state? Because that's where, it can have different implications. What those implications are, I don't know. So you have to make sure when it comes to anything like that, if you go and you see a doctor, remember, if you are going to an emergency room, or I think it's even like one of those urgent care clinics, you have 72 hours to call. What the hell is it? So you can call to have the VA realize that you were there in California. Okay. But that's what I'm saying. I don't know how that works. I don't know what your doctor's going to put. I don't know if they're going to put that, what the issue was, what you were dealing with. That's something you have to make sure you're specifically figuring out and putting in there so that way you know what they are relaying to whoever they're relaying it to. Because if you don't know what's being relayed, now you're lost and you're out of the window, which is you don't want to be outside. You don't want to be on the outside looking in. You want to be on the inside looking out. Like, hey, okay, y'all said this, y'all found this, y'all documented this, y'all put this in a record, y'all sent this away and stuff like that. That's where you want to be on the inside. No, that's hey, he's your doctor. He's seen you straight out. Just like, hey, man, what's going on with this situation? That's all you got to do. That's your right. That's your right as the patient. Doctor-client privilege, ask away. What's going to be reported, what's going to be put in there, what's in my record, and that's something also as veterans we don't do a good job of. Hey, if you're going to get seen for anything, can I get a copy of this? That shit ain't going to hurt nobody. All it is, he's going to be like, yeah, just go to the front desk or the clerk and just let them know that you like to make a copy of this stuff. They're going to probably ask you why. Like, why do you want a copy of your medical records? First off is mine. Second off, I would like to have a copy of it because I'm dealing with the VA and I'll be filing claims and I would like to have that there. Redakuma, no problem, man. Well, that's what I'm here for. Y'all ask questions. Any questions, we'll go over and we'll talk about it. But that's the thing. Veterans, I don't care how old you are, where you're at. If you go to your doctor, get a copy of your records. It's your information. It's yours. What are they going to say? No? Shouldn't go to that doctor if that doctor's going to be there. If it's in a VA hospital, you still can ask because it's still a hospital. So they're still going to have a record. Chances are anything that goes, if you go get seen in a VA hospital for any emergency, anything like that, that's going to end up in your record. It's going to populate in your record. Now, the thing is what comes out of it, that's the question you have to ask your provider because your provider is going to see the documentation of you being hospitalized. And then they're probably going to ask you about it the next time they see you. But make sure you have your records on there because with your C file, that should populate on there. And you can just request that your documentation and get your info so that you have it. And you know, okay, this is there, this is there, this is there. Because you never know. With the VA, that's the thing. People need to realize with the VA, I don't want to say you don't want to be distrustful of them, but you got to be skeptical. It's just like if you're 100% PNT, if you're not 100% PNT, anything that you go and see, make sure you have a copy of it. Make sure you are verifying that what is being put into your file is correct. Because that's where we run into a lot of problems where, well, you were in active duty. They didn't put that it was an ankle sprain. They just put an ankle injury. And then that's a whole different outlook on your VA claim. You severely sprained your ankle and they just put it as an ankle injury. You got on a medical profile that you couldn't run for multiple months of the physical therapy, but they put it as an ankle injury, not that you actually sprained it. So, hey, no problem, man. And that's what people need to realize. All that stuff it's important to have, y'all. The thing is that we're not learning from these situations, and that's where we keep on having problems as veterans. We're not learning. We need to understand that documentation. No matter what age you are, no matter where you at in life, no matter if you got 100% PNT or you don't. Even if you got 100% PNT, that I think is one of the biggest reasons to keep your information. Because that way, if out of nowhere they want to reevaluate or you have to file a claim, oh, we're going to reduce you in this because it looks like it got better. Well, according to my medical records here, I've been being seen for the past 2 years at this location, and they have consistently shown that I'm always in constant pain. I'm always dealing this. I'm still getting refills. And that's how you explain it. And that's how you build arguments for your case. It's the same way with proving service connection. Get all that documentation. If you don't got it, hey man, it's fucking hard. Yes, you can get 100%. You can get reevaluated at 100% PNT. What I tell people is, if you are going to, for veterans obtaining healthcare is complex. I'm 66 and a prior provider, and I find it difficult. Is it really tough for veterans who are older? You for yourself. So let me answer the first one. So this is the question, so people can see it. Is it going to show up? Okay, so that was that one. Let me show you this one first. So this was the first question. Can I get reevaluated if I'm 100% permanent total? The answer is yes. If you are not applying for anything, chances are you're not going to get it reevaluated because they got you to 100% PNT because they know that the stuff you have is not going to get better. Now, if you do have to file something, this is what I tell veterans, because a lot of veterans get told, don't poke the bear, don't play with fire. This is my justification. You don't have to agree with it. This is just my reasoning for it. Also, yeah, when you reach a certain age, they won't reevaluate you because if you've been doing it for long enough, if you get, because remember, there's the 5, 10, and 20-year rule. Once you get past a certain amount of those, they don't reevaluate you for certain ones. And they don't reduce them at certain ones also. So keep that in mind. So thank you for that, Dakota. But also, if you are going to file another claim after being 100% permanent total, the reason I suggest people do it is, will it cause you harm? Can you die from it? Do you have a family? Because the reason I say that is if you're going to file a claim that you know you may pass away from, there's the DIC, the dependent indemnity compensation, which is basically if you pass away because of a service-connected issue, your family can receive that compensation. So if you know, like, hey, if you just notice you got some heart issues, never had them before, claim it. Because if you end up having a heart attack or something like that happens because of your heart and that's why you pass, now your family don't got anything if you never claimed it. But if you file ahead and claim it and you have it there, now it has that information there. It's just like, oh, he filed for this. He passed away because of this. And you do it that way. Otherwise, if it's something that you can go to your regular doctor and you don't need to, don't. The other issue with being reevaluated is also a lot of veterans tend to do this secondary claim. What I mean is basically they take that one service connected issue and then they connect multiple secondaries that are caused from a service connected issue. Issue with that is hey, let's say you get reevaluated or whatever the case is for one of them. Let's say you started with tinnitus and that became everything else. If you go and you get seen for tinnitus and you're saying you don't have no ringing in your ear, you hear perfectly fine, you don't need the hearing aid anymore, that's going to affect the rest of your claims, because the reason you got the rest of the claims were because the tinnitus was causing it. So that's why just like it's a slippery slope. But I say is like, look, if you're injured and your stuff hasn't changed, you shouldn't have a problem with being reevaluated, because they can check all the stuff, but your medical diagnosis and your medical information and your physical therapy, all that stuff should show that it hasn't improved. In order to get reduced, you have to have at least 2 different instances showing that you are improving drastically. And that's what you got to make sure you're doing. And then the other one is it really tough for veterans who are older? The reason I say it's tougher for veterans that are older is because of the fact that a lot of the older veterans don't have the documentation like there is now. So a lot of the documentation is available now, which is a digital era. So all this digital stuff, everything is digital. You can upload it, download it, stuff like that. The older veterans, the Vietnam War era, those even Gulf War eras, Korean War era, they didn't have digital stuff. And if they did, that shit was a sorry ass system. Now that comes into the problem where, okay, you don't have all these issues now because everything is digital. You can download it. You can look stuff up. There's cell phones. You can Google it right off your hand. So it makes it difficult for those older generation stuff, because I can't Google the stuff that I was dealing with back in those days because there's no information that's digital about it. So it makes it tough to do. But it's tough. It's tough for anybody to get rated for stuff, because the thing is if you don't have prior documentation, and for a lot of these older vets, they were in that era where it's just like you didn't go to sick call, you didn't get seen for shit. So now 30, 40 years down the road, you are extensively going through the process, and it's just like, okay, I need to be able to provide this information to connect this. Now I got to find a way how to get that information. So it makes it tough when you're an older veteran, because the capabilities and the technology wasn't the same, and the same justification, the same stuff doesn't happen. Also remember that a lot of these VA raters now are 30s, 40s. A lot of these veterans from back in the day, like you're 66. There's no 66-year-old VA rater. All of these people are younger. They didn't go through the same experience. They don't know what the hell it is. But the thing is a lot of the older vets don't do personal statements or statements in their claims. I spoke to one person, that's Annette, one of the members of the channel here. I did a consultation with her, and I explained she was, I hope she doesn't mind me saying it, but she worked, she had her MOS, she had her job. And when she explained it to me, it was just like, shit, I didn't even know they fucking did that. So if I didn't know, imagine a VA rater that is 30 something years old, and you're talking about Vietnam era ways of doing things. They're going to have no idea what you're talking about. She was an x-ray tech. X-rays were a lot more different back in the day. Now, what do? Hey, sit over here. I'm going to press this button. Beep. No, back then they actually had to manually make them. 2 different instances. But if you don't tell that VA rater, they're going to take it as you're an x-ray tech. Oh, so you just got behind the door and pressed a button. They're not going to know. They're going to know off of the knowledge that they know now. So you need to make sure you're putting that info in there. Real Kuma says, sorry to ask so many questions, but I read online that if we are rated and married for X amount of years, we will get life insurance based on our passing. Is that true or not? I am not sure about that one. Let me see. Give me a second. Because that you would have to go to va.gov, life insurance, va.gov life insurance, and then you can go through here. So I'll put this in the chat so you can search through it there, because I'm not on that note, I'm not entirely sure. So that's the life insurance link. You could just click on that and go from there. And it's just like, yes, like that's it. Statements, and documentation. You need it. You need all that stuff in there to provide it. Do I need a nexus letter if my VA physiologist just filed out a DBQ? Grip, the question I got for you is can you get one? Can you get a nexus letter? Because if you can, do it. If you can get a nexus letter, do it. That's more documentation. That's more evidence being solidifying that you have this disability. Because if a DBQ is being filled out by the VA, it's a DBQ. It's going to break that stuff down. But if you are trying to prove service connection, then yes, I would say definitely do a nexus letter, because you're going to have the DBQ being filled out, which is going to fill you out and give you all the information as to what you're dealing with. But the nexus letter is what's going to make that bridge connection from this is what you're dealing with, this is why it was caused by the military, and that little bridge connecting all the stuff and everything under it between that. So I would definitely say get one. If you can get one, definitely. You always want to do that. You know about the military, you can claim sports injuries while playing in the military. Yes. You're giving us some. I appreciate that, Dakota. But yeah, that's something you want to make sure you're doing. You gotta have that. And because he just filled out the DBQ for me after being up Directive 1134. Get whatever documentation. Look, when it comes to filing disability claims, I always tell everybody this, and I probably say this every week. I need you to be able to have your disability claim, right, Grip? And I need you to be able to give it. I need you to be able to give it to a random person, and that random person needs to be able to tell you what's wrong with you. If that person cannot tell what's wrong with you, why would a VA rater do it? If a random person can't tell you what's wrong with you and look at your file and be like, all right, he fucked up. Yeah, I don't need anything else. If a person can do that randomly, a VA rater then should be able to do the same thing. Now, the only thing that with that is making sure that that service connection is proven within there. Because the thing is remember, some of these VA raters have, oh, congratulations on getting 100% P&T, Andrew. Where's from so it's like my well, that ain't good. But yeah, that's what I always tell people, and that's what I always try to tell people. You need to make sure that that's what's happening. Make sure you can hand your documents to somebody that doesn't know who you are. When they see that, they read it, it was like, yeah, I can see he had an injury. He got physical therapy. He got the imagery. He got the DBQ filled out. Oh, and now he has a nexus letter. What does the nexus letter say? Nexus letter says is because of this justification or this medical study or this, or this, that, or this, whatever. This is the reason why he has this injury, and it has worsened over time because it was onset and began when his time in service on this event, which he has the stuff from there. Yo, hello from Dodge City, Kansas. And you have that there. Once you have that information, 10 times easier. You just not doing good, huh, Noel? You just, it's a different lifestyle for you, huh? But that's how veterans need to look at it. You need to look at that stuff that way. If you don't look at it, you're not gonna get anywhere. If you don't have the justification, the right documentation, or the right information, you're not gonna go anywhere. It's not gonna be good for you. You're gonna end up running into problems where you're gonna get denied. And then a lot of the times veterans are gonna get pissed off and they're gonna be denied, and they're gonna be like, you know what? The VA sucks. The VA sucks. The VA doesn't want to help me, but you didn't do your job. And that's the sorry effect that we have right now. That's the sorry part that we run into, that a lot of times we're not doing the proper stuff we need to be successful, and we're putting the blame on the VA. If your packet isn't, if your disability claim, like I said, if somebody else can't tell you what's wrong with you, you can't expect the VA rater to figure it out. Oh, so in Switzerland you go. Wonder how that would work here. Be interesting, but we'll see. But yeah, those are the different things that people need to realize. It's just like when you're filing claims and stuff like that, you need to realize that all your claims can be combined. Well, no, I'm not saying all of them combined like in that manner, but it's just like everything has to be justifiable. Everything has to be evident or have evidence or buddy statement, lay witness statement, like whatever it is, you have to have all that in order to make sure that you are able to do it. Many are waking up finally and may be too late. That's the thing is that a lot of people, Andrew, are realizing the fact that it's just like, I think one of the bigger things is now with veterans that now so many people want to claim, so many people want to is that they're actually getting this information. That I think is one of the bigger reasonings that we have this budgetary constraint. Because remember, the PACT Act came out, and at first that shit was slow. Because people didn't know what the hell they were filing for. It was just like, oh, this is pre-thing. Look, it took Andrew 20 years to get to his 100%. See what the fuck that is? 20 years. Shouldn't take that long. But that's the system we go through because the information isn't out there. I bet you I can ask Andrew now. Andrew, if it were the fact that you went through these past 20 years, if you would have had all the information you had after these 20 years of going through this, and you would have been able to file it on the day one with all that knowledge, bet you it wouldn't have taken 20 years. But the thing is as veterans, we're not getting educated on this stuff. We're not being taught this stuff. We're not being shown this stuff. That's why I do these workshops, because the thing is the amount of veterans that I run into that have no idea what the fuck is going on, that have no idea what I'm talking about, it's crazy. Like I said, there's 19 million of us out here. And only 9 million of us use the VA healthcare. Let alone, I have to find the numbers of the people that actually use the veteran readiness and employment. Actually use their GI Bill to the fullest. Actually use the VA loan. Actually gain and actually file their taxes and get their tax exemptions. Or get Buenos dias, Gabriel. Or they get all that stuff. See, look, he said he had great evidence and he still took time. Just like, because it's a different system. It's a system that we're working on the stuff, but we need to get acclimated to it, and that's the thing. We're not being acclimated enough, and we're not finding the information where we need to. So, see, look, I had no clue till 2020. Most of the stuff. Look, I'll tell you this right now. Even this day and age, with the ability of having cell phones, Google, FaceTime, all this technology, you still got veterans that have no idea the amount of resources that the VA can offer you. No idea. Even with all the technological advances, most veterans don't know most of the shit. That's why we were going through, and we've been off topic for a bit, but it's just answering 100 questions, and it's just like, it's good because it's just like helping people. He said, all I got was help for my resume in 1997. The thing is Gabriel, also from those days, a lot has been implemented. A lot has increased over the time period of 20 years ago. Remember, 20 years ago, the cell phones weren't even that crazy. You look back 20 years ago, I would say go into your phone if you have like a old file or something stored with all your old pictures and stuff like that. Look at the pictures you took 20 years ago. Just look in your phone and look at the pictures you took 20 years ago. And then look at the pictures you can take now. You can basically land on the moon with some of the phones you got now, with the how close you can get and how magnifying the pictures can get. You can be across the damn area and get a picture like you were right there standing next to somebody. That alone is different, because that goes into imagery when it comes to getting MRIs, getting CAT scans. This is like people are getting help. Hey, what's up, Annette? And it's just like people are getting assistance and people are getting help, but they don't realize that it's just like you're getting this stuff. The thing is you got to know what you're looking for. You got to know what you're finding. I was just like, the VRE program is basically a secondary GI Bill, but most people don't know about it. Most veterans get out and what do they straight go and use? Their GI Bill. I'm one of those veterans. I didn't know about the VRE program till I was I graduated in May. I'll still have maybe a year worth of my GI Bill. But then remember, the GI Bill just got extended if you served more than one tour. So now I have 2 more years of GI Bill. So I might as well just go try to get another master's. Or just go for my PhD. That's a lot of work, though. I ain't got time for that. It's crazy. But those are things that's there. That's information and benefits there that people don't know. All this stuff is there. You know how life-changing it is also to get your school loans forgiven, a VA loan where you don't have to put a down payment. You know what not having to put $20,000 to $30,000 to $40,000 on a home is? Hey, Gabriel, it happens. People, we go through rough spots and stuff, but the thing is now as we've improved and the VA has improved, there's stuff that has improved. The life insurance policy was revised. Okay. In what aspect in that? Because I had the VA life insurance page up, but I wasn't too sure exactly what changed, because that's something I need to look into. But hold on. Let me go back to the main share. And we have Adobe. So we'll turn this off. Turn that off because we were doing the benefits, right? So funny people were talking about it, and it's usually, this is one of the bigger topics. This is from the 2025 federal benefits. This is what the VA pushed out for information. So this is what most of the workshop was going to be. But like I said, when it comes to questions, I like answering them because it's easier to answer here. Because if you leave it on a comment, which if you have questions, any of these workshops, any videos I make, leave them in the comments also so that I know to get an answer to you. And doing it that way. But this is one of the things that gets published. Most veterans still don't know that there was a federal benefits guide that was pushed out. Most people don't know that either. Gabriel, you can use all of them. You may not be able to use them all intertwined. You are using the Texas Hazelwood Act, you're not paying for tuition. That's fine. Use that, get your degree. Now, go to the VRE program. Whatever you're getting your degree in. Another thing, set a plan up. Your payments were decreased. Nice, Danette. I was just like, make a plan. If you are going to school, for instance, the VLG. There was some changes. I don't know what. That's the thing. They don't publicize the shit. That's the thing. You have to search in a search to find these informations. And I hate that about the VA. There should be something. There should be the VA news should have a section of just changes. And just have that there. Consolidated. Everything that has to do with the VA that's changing, updated thing, proposed, they should have it there. But they don't have that. But yeah, if you're using the Hazelwood Act, use the Hazelwood Act. But like I said, have a plan. If you're going to school for something, make a track or a plan for it. Because the thing is you can use the Hazelwood Act, use that, right? Then you go to the VRE program, which can get you a master's degree or work on something else or a different degree in that same field to enhance you or certifications. Then you can use your GI Bill on top of it. So literally you got the Hazelwood Act, you got the VRE program, and you got the GI Bill. So you can get 3 different degrees and or some certifications within that time period. Because that's literally almost, as long as you get accepted through the VRE, that's basically, I would say, almost 8 years worth of schooling. Well, 6 years worth of schooling that they pay for. Not considering the fact that you already got your Hazelwood Act to take care of whatever you got through them. Plus another 6 years of possible housing allowance on top of it. So I say it sucks. It was just like you don't see yourself going to school, but at the end of the day, if you educating yourself, it's helping you to obtain a better job, better paying job, and you getting housing on top of it. Shit, you better, you better, because that's what it goes into this education and training. Post 9/11 GI Bill gives you the breakdown. So for the Hazelwood Act, I'm not too adept or know how that one works, if they give you any stipend or not. With the VRE program, that basically goes in with it as long as you're going through that track, because there's 5 different tracks when it comes to the VRE program. If you're doing through the long-term one, which is the one that is basically for you to go into school, it's basically like another GI Bill where you will get the housing allowance with that. The GI Bill, same thing, housing allowance with that. And they just justify it as the location of where you are going to school and the cost of living at that location. So if you are in a specific spot in Texas, whatever the cost of living is there and the BAH rate that they have, that's what you would receive. For the Hazelwood Act, I'm not sure. That I don't know too in depth about it. Post 9/11 GI Bill eligibility. Most people know this, most people don't, but it gives you the breakdown. Contents of the benefit. So this is the breakdown where I'm gonna go through this one because this one gives us the information as to what you get with the post 9/11 GI Bill. Service members or eligible veterans may receive up to 36 months of entitlement under the post 9/11 GI Bill. No beneficiary may use more than 48 months of education and training benefits from any combination of programs, with the exception of the VRE. You can't use, the thing is the GI Bill, with most of those, what they don't want you to do, Gabriel, is they don't want you to double dip. Because you're double dipping, because the thing is if the Hazelwood Act is already paying your tuition, the GI Bill ain't paying tuition. So it's like, why would they need to pay you BAH if you already got your school paid for it? So that's why in certain places it's made that way, that it's just like, look, you go to our state, you ain't paying for it. But you don't need to use the GI Bill because of the fact that you ain't paying for it. There's nothing for us to justify giving you a housing allowance because you're not currently going to school and we're not paying for you to go to school. So that's where it becomes that part there. 48 months. But remember, the cost of benefits here, this is changing. Because remember, with the extension of the GI Bill, you can now have 48 months if you served multiple times. How are you not eligible for the GI Bill? You don't fall under this. So to be eligible, the service member or veteran, hold on 1 second, because I gotta put this back in there. Serve at least 90 days aggregate days on active duty after 2001. Oh, you weren't, okay. Do you have the Montgomery GI Bill then? Because that I know has stipulations over a certain amount of time when you can use it. Graduate, undergraduate. Okay, so that I understand then why you run into that problem then, because some of these things were instituted after the fact. Yeah. So there, I'm not. In that case, you may want to contact the VA and see what resources are available, because you can still use the VRE program. The VRE program you should be able to use, because all you need for that one is at least a 10% rating. So you can go and try to apply for the not vocational, that's the old name, Veteran Readiness and Employment Program. You go through there, fill it out, you get accepted, and then from there you'll be able to use that as a veteran that will help you with your education. And you might want to ask or incur, see what you can do that way, because that would be your best bet. Because I know with the GI Bill, it was out of time, basically. But yeah, this is tuition and fees. These are the benefits. Paid to the institution on the student's behalf. As well, a monthly housing allowance is paid directly to the student, provided the student is attending more than half the time. There you go. That's your best bet. Currently, MHH is equal to the basic allowance for housing payable to a military E5 with dependents, but prorated based on benefit level and rate of pursuit. Full time, three-fourths time, etc. MHA is calculated based on the zip code of the campus location where the student physically attends most of their classes. If a student is only taking online courses, their MHA is half the national average. Please note, however, that MHA is not payable to individuals enrolled in flight or correspondence training, to individuals while pursuing training at halftime or less, regardless of the type of training, or to individuals while on active duty or their spouses. Current rates can be found. Education benefit rates. Additional benefits under the post 9/11 GI Bill include a yearly book and supply stipend of up to $1,000 per year paid directly to the service member, veteran, or eligible dependents, and a one-time payment of $500 paid to certain individuals relocating from highly rural areas. Yes, that is one thing that people need to realize. That they basically make it that they want you to take at least a one class. So you have to have at least one class, which is in person. If you find those hybrid classes that allow you to show up in person, or you can be online and in person at the same time, that still counts as long as the coding within what they file to the VA states that it's an in-person class. So that's one thing people need to remember. I tried to go back to school with the old GI Bill. I was not eligible. I had VAAP. I don't remember the other program they had. And I did not qualify. I had to pay for my education. And that sucks. That definitely sucks. Because for a veteran to have to pay for their education because of the stuff, it is just like I said, it's tough because as we keep on moving forward, more stuff is being implemented and instituted to help veterans. The thing is, it's just like we left a lot of people hanging dry on the back end. That's the biggest problem. And I understand that's where a lot of the animosity and the hatred toward the VA comes from, was because those before all these things happened. But they're working on it. I'm not vouching for the VA. I'm not against the VA. I know that they are trying to implement things that are changes, that are beneficial. Some things are good, some things are great, some are damn right terrible, and some shouldn't even be in the process. But it depends. It depends. If you're an older veteran, it's different. The VRE program hasn't been around since the get. That's something that I have to look up when the VRE program was started. Because there I'm not sure. Oh no, well, I guess it has been for a while. So the Veteran Readiness and Employment, the VRE, was basically established in 1918 because it was part of the Soldiers Act, which was intended for World War I veterans. Then it got expanded in 1943 after World War II began. But you got to remember that it wasn't the same information and safe stuff that you had available now. So now it's changed now. It's been around for a long time, but different criteria, different usage, different stuff available. They do. I remember. They do finals every 5 weeks, and you have to stay on campus when you go take the exam at least 50 minutes. So you can get San Diego BAH. There's ways to do it. As long as you go to school, you enroll in that school, you have the documentation that you're in that school. You can go to school anywhere you want, basically, and they'll pay for it. whether you want to go look. You ever thought about living in Hawaii for a couple of years? Now's your chance. Now's your chance. Go to Hawaii and try to. Well, first you got to get accepted into the University of Hawaii, first off. Get accepted into the University of Hawaii. Go to school there. Live in Hawaii through the duration of your GI Bill. Live in paradise for a couple of years. Get a job while you out there. Live in Hawaii for a couple of years and get your education and your bachelor's, and then you can move back. Or use that same bachelor's to get a job while you out there. That can happen in any state. I just threw out Hawaii because I was there for a couple of years and I loved it. But it's all possible to do that because the BAH is going to be represented by where that place is. So the more expensive it is, the higher the BAH. But remember, you still got to take care of yourself. Just keep that in mind when you're doing that planning. But then that leads us to the Yellow Ribbon Program. The Yellow Ribbon Program allows institutions of higher learning, such as colleges, universities, and other degree-granting schools in the U.S. and overseas to voluntarily enter into an agreement with VA to fund tuition and fees that exceed the amounts payable under the post 9/11 GI Bill. Because keep in mind, a GI Bill can cover a certain amount. They're going to pay the full thing, but to a certain amount. Then after that, if you get with the Yellow Ribbon Program, it's basically the Yellow Ribbon saying, all right, y'all going to cover this? We're going to cover the last 25% because it's more expensive than it usually is. Can a 70 IU veteran with only one service-connected disability reach 100 scheduler by filing secondaries? Thanks. Benny, yes. Anybody, you can reach 100% with any filing with anything. You have one, if you have 170 already, that got you the UI. So they already see that it's an unemployability. Now what you need to do is what are those secondaries? Can you connect those secondaries? Do you have the diagnosis for those secondaries? Do you have documentation for those secondaries? Then it's going about filing for it. But keep in mind, this can affect your IU when doing this. Because remember, now that you're doing it for that 70%, remember, you got the IU because you were unemployable. Now, does this mean that you get this 70% and you file these secondaries? If these secondaries don't get you to 100%, now you may be dropped down to like, let's say 80 or 90% and you don't have the IU. Oh, Dakota, I know that. Look, this is all you got to go. If you're going to a school and you're going to apply to a school and you hit them with the, well, I'm going to use my GI accepted. Here's your school books. You start next week. You'd be like, damn, it was that easy? I was like, no, you just gave them the magic word. You gave them you getting paid. That's what you just told them. That's what you just told that school when you mentioned that. When they ask you, it's just like, okay, so how you plan to go to school and stuff? Are you going to be taking school loans and stuff? Nah. GI Bill. Come on down, bro. Desk is already waiting for you. Yes, or you can apply for SSDI, Benny, if you're trying to get the extra income from it there. See, look, Dakota over here says he went to USC and it was easy. I'm gonna look into it because the thing is like, look, I got 2 years, right? I'm about to finish my master's degree and I'm gonna have 2 years left of my GI Bill. I might want to travel somewhere different, live there for a couple of years. You never know. Yes, but got denied, might have to get a lawyer for help. Depending on what it is that, the SSD is difficult. That one I am not well versed in at all. Shit, I still need to file. I can still file for it and I haven't done it. That one is just a bit more difficult because it's not the same justification. It's not the VA stuff. You have the VA, the CFR, and the stuff that they go through for the UI. SSD does a completely different evaluation. It's not the same thing. Just because you got that 100% P&T in VA doesn't mean you automatically gonna get it through there. You have to go through the steps and there's different steps and stuff. So this is one that I hadn't really heard of. The David Fry, the Marine Gunnery Sergeant John David Fry Scholarship. GI benefits to the children and surviving. Said don't do the SSDI. They own you for life. They're strict. They're stricter when it comes to the stuff. But then that might go into the whole how much money you make, and I didn't want to deal with that. Like, look, I'm 100% PNT. I'm using my GI Bill. I'm getting my degree. I'm doing what I have to right now and doing it that way. Yeah, see, most people get denied that first time when they're going through with the SSD, and then if you get a lawyer, the lawyer knows, and then they know what to say and stuff like that. It's the same thing as like how we'd go through disability claims. Sometimes you need an expert to do it. I tell people, if you are going to get assistance where you are going to pay somebody, go to a lawyer. Why? Because their damn certification is on the line. You go to any one of these companies and stuff like that, some of these people ain't VA accredited. Most of them aren't. Most of them are just regular people like myself that just charge you an arm and a leg to fill out disability claims that you could have done yourself. But since I have the knowledge, I'm taking advantage of you and charging you. But yeah, definitely appreciate that, Silky. That's great advice there. That's why I like doing this, because like this, we can actually talk and have people within the Veteran Awareness Project like community converse also, because there's a ton of knowledge between veterans. It's just that we need to be able to share it in different manners. Thing is most people don't have these outlets. Most people don't know about these outlets. So it's like, hey, where do I go to get this information? Who do I talk to get this information? But people on this channel, there's a ton of resources within this channel of just people that stop in and have information and know about stuff to go through the process. So it's always a good thing to just be able to communicate and talk to people to learn that way. So the Fry Scholarship provides post 9/11 GI Bill benefits to the children and surviving spouses of service members who died after September 10th, 2001. May have the possibility. No, that's not a bad thing. So Silky Slim Reaper says SSDI has a ticket to work program that if you feel you may have possibly gained the ability to work, you can try to work with no negative effects. And if it doesn't work out, you retain your benefits. Dakota says, why pay someone for something you earned? Some people get overwhelmed. Some people look at this shit. Look, I thought about it. And then I was just like, and then I started hearing and talking to other people. And it was just like, yeah, I paid like about this amount of thousands. I was like, hold on. You said what? Once the thousands word came out in payment, I was just like, for what? It's like, oh, they helped me file it and they put this. It was just like, but I have all you got to do is go online. All you got to do is like know the information, know what you're filing, know your documentation. Oh, that's all you got to do. And you paid thousands of dollars for that? It made me think, you know what? I need to start charging people for this. That's what I started talking to people. I was like, hold up. I got a lot of knowledge in this stuff. And I'm doing this for free. I'm going to start charging people. But it's like, no, it's free information. Now, if I'm doing the filing and stuff like that, I understand they want to charge. But some of this is just exploiting veterans because of the fact that they know you don't know any better. But if you go to a lawyer, that lawyer messes up. That lawyer is no longer a lawyer. These entities mess up, they just get a whole nother veteran to try it on. That's it. Yeah, that's what I do. I just help everybody here. Everybody that tunes in has questions, you get an answer. Everybody I served with, and they already know this. I've been getting messages from my friends like, hey man, I need assistance and stuff like that. I was like, look, I served with you, I got you. If I did not serve with you and you are referring like a friend of yours that you served with, it was just like, I'm not helping that person. I don't get paid to do this, to consult people. I am consulting and guiding you because I served with you. I know you. I worked with you. I'm cool with you. I understand that. And like, yes, it is very time consuming. Going through documents, like, you know how long it is to go through, how long it took me to go through all the pages in my medical record. Now you want me to do it for your medical record? So the person says, so why do live? Because I can answer people's questions. It's easier to ask a person, like you can come onto a live right now and you can just ask me a question like, hey, look at the amount of questions people have asked just now, just off of YouTube. A bunch of people have asked me questions. I just answer. Doesn't hurt to answer people. Doesn't hurt to do it. Do I get paid for answering? No. I get paid basically on YouTube, I get paid for viewership. On TikTok, I use it more for, hey, I can get veterans and find veterans on here, send them to YouTube. If people want to donate, feel free. I ain't got no problem with it. I'm not going to say no, but I'm not going to ask for it either. If people want to become members on the channel, they could do so also. I'm not asking for any of this. This is just something I do on Sundays because I went through this problem. Now it's best to educate people because it's free. Now, if this was something that I went to school with, studied, like I'm getting my master's degree in teaching you how to read the CFR and all that stuff, then yes, I would be charging. But this is all free information and guidance that's available to the public, to anybody. You don't even have to be a veteran to look at the CFR. Some of these people that do these claim things aren't even veterans. I was like, I know the information I know as being a veteran, dealing with active duty, and then I know as a veteran what I had to deal with to get to 100% P&T and the processes and things that I thought of going through the process that I know for a fact most people don't think of because they never thought of it. It is what it is. Now, I didn't receive, like, I received help from YouTube channels. Some, because some of them just started getting annoying. Some of them was just like gaslighting you into like making you watch them because it's like, oh, I got upcoming information. You watched the video and there was no fucking information in there. But the thumbnail and the thing that you clicked on, it was just like, oh, breaking news or this, and that. And I was like, bro, you just wasted my time. I was just like, but you didn't teach me anything throughout that process. At least with here, you got a question. Like I said, look, we going through this. The benefits thing. If you checked out the previous 2 workshops, same thing, just going through this. And we go down the line, we go over the stuff and it just explaining what's in the benefits for us. This is a big one, the STEM scholarships. So this is one that I know most people don't know of. The Edith North Rogers Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math Scholarship will provide up to 9 months of additional benefits, up to a maximum of $30,000, to qualified veterans and FRI scholars. Qualifying. Yeah, main thing is all we got was a certificate for serving and adios. For most people, that's what a lot of people got, and they didn't get that information within the time. So it's just like, it doesn't hurt to teach veterans how to make sure to get their benefits, get it the right way. Because the thing is it is time consuming. It is fucking agitating. It's anxiety driving. It's fucking, it can become depressive because it's like, you know, you need help and you know you have a rating you deserve, but you're not getting it. That can take a toll on people because it's breaking you down off of the fact that it's just like, yo, I know I have this. I'm dealing with this. The VA said I don't have it. They're not servicing connected. And people, that shit throws people for a loop. People don't want to talk about it, but it talks people into the loop. Look, most people, you can tell you, and I know I did it, and I know a bunch of other people did it. Once they filed that claim, boy, you on that VA app checking every day. Did it move to the next step? Is my rating done? Did they service connect my stuff? Is it in the next step? Everybody's doing it. And if that isn't an anxiety issue that should just be claimed, I don't know what is. Just like, but I know everybody's going through that same process. Just like, you know what? Let me just check. Bro, you just checked 30 minutes ago. The shit isn't, just leave it alone. Check it every day in the morning or something. But that's something that drives people insane. And that's very agitating to not know. It's just like, I'm waiting on my disability claim. Shit, I don't have my disability claim. Shit, I don't have the information on it. Shit, I got to check again. Yeah, you can do walk-ins at the VA. You can do walk-ins at the VA. You can go to your own personal doctor. The thing is making sure you got the documentation about it. The VA helps when it comes to that. You can call a crisis line. That's something that's there. Or you can talk to the VA and go for it and then apply through there. Because the thing is now the VA has information on it because they're seeing you. I was just like, you're dealing with it with this. You got diagnosed with PTSD because of something that happened on your deployment, something that might have just happened in garrison, something that might have happened at home. It could have been an incident that happened with one of your friends. That's all the stuff that is just like, I tell them to check their bank account after they have seen the claim doctors. That's all it is. It's letting veterans know like the VA has all these resources. We need to communicate to veterans. Go. This is one of those instances where you need to fuck around and find out. Sorry to put it like that, but that's the best way of me putting it. Fuck around and find out and get you some benefits. Fuck around and find out and get you some benefits. They're there. Just go to the VA. Ask questions. To some people, you can ask questions. Like for me, if you ask me a question, I'm going to take you to the damn website. If I don't know, or if I do know, I'm still going to show you the website so that you know what the resource is. Then you can go and call the VA or head to the VA and do it that way. I'm not going to give you all, oh, Gabriel told me this, Dakota told me that, they told me this, and this is, no. That's if y'all been here before, y'all know that's not how I operate. I make sure to show y'all where the stuff is so that way you have a visual and actual valid reference as to where you're getting this information. So that way it's not word of mouth. This is from the horse. The horse is telling you, this is how you file this. This is the benefit from this. This is the benefit from that. So that way is not false information, because that's what we run into, where it's a lot of information being pushed out there that most veterans don't know because it's not the right information. It's information that they obtained from the, you know how you used to have like the barracks lawyer that would tell you everything. These are the VA lawyers, but everybody's a VA lawyer. But all these VA lawyers don't know where they got their information from. So Dakota, with some, the DAV is on some military bases, and that's something that's new because that's not something that was there before. That's something that now the VSOs are trying to do, and they're trying to push to get onto installations and be more visible. The Veterans Benefit Act that just got passed, that got pushed through before Senator Tester was, he left the Senate and was no longer the chairman for the Veteran Affairs. He put that in there as part of it. The same one, that same bill that said that some DBQs are not going to be allowed to be used anymore by the discretion of the VA secretary. Within that same bill, they put it that the VSOs are going to get more funding, or they're going to look into getting VSOs more expansion, so that veterans are not going to these claim entities or these claim sharks to get thousands of dollars taken away from them there. Because you got to remember, this is the thing. This is something I just realized too. With these claim agents, right? They're making tax-free money. Because you got to remember, whatever back pay, whatever money you make off of that claim is tax-free. So if you're paying somebody in tax-free money, what are they going to claim on their taxes if it's free? They're claiming a service that they provided for you that you paid, but it's tax-free money. So they can just basically say they never provided anything. That's just tax-free money they have. Probably don't work like that, but I just thought about it. It just sounds, it just makes it sound even like, damn, these people just doing that, huh? Okay. Well, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but that's how it sounds like. It's just like starts sounding a bit questionable. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's what it is. I look, all VSOs are not great. All CMP examiners are not great. All VA raters are not great. All these programs are there. Those free programs, they're still free. But at the same time, you can't expect them to be the best. You have to be the best. Your documentation has to be the best. You have to fill it out the correct way and make sure your shit is legit. It's not their job it's kind of their job to help you file and stuff like that, but it is not their job to make sure that you are explaining and stating what it is that's bothering you, how it is that's bothering you, and all that stuff. That's not their job. They don't know who you are. They just know you're a person that came in and needs a disability claim filled out. So what are they going to do? They're going to give you the disability claim. They're going to give you the information you're asking for. Now, are you going to come out with the results that you thought you needed, or you thought you wanted, or you thought you should get? Two different institutions, two different situations. And that's where people need to realize that it's two different things that cause that. It's two different things, two different situations when it comes to being successful in this. So it's just like you're getting these things for free, some of them. Some of them you got to pay for, some of them is just harder to get to. All right, let's continue with this. To qualifying veterans seeking a qualifying undergraduate and a STEM degree alone or as part of a dual program have earned a qualifying post-secondary degree or graduate degree, enrolled in a covered clinical training program or health professionals. This is basically if you want to get more certifications or more stuff like that, you can add to it with up to $30,000, which is for STEM stuff. So it helps with STEM training. If you want to become a teacher in that manner, that would be beneficial to you. The Survivors Independence Educational Assistance, this is the DEA, which is basically once you get to 100% P&T, your family members are able to obtain that stipend monthly while they're in school because of Chapter 35. Period of eligibility. The period of eligibility for veteran spouses expires 10 years from either the date they become eligible or the date of the veteran's death. Children generally must be between the ages of 18 and 16 to receive educational benefits. VA may grant extensions to both spouses and children. The period of eligibility for spouses of service members who died on active duty expires 20 years from the date of death. Hey, Dakota, appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate that. You have yourself a good Sunday. I don't remember. The Pro Bowl is this week, right? I'm so fucking lost. When is the Pro Bowl? I forget what it is. But that shit is today. Oh, okay, yeah. So we might not be going on for the I thought I might have gone for an extended time period, but yeah, that's not happening today. We'll see, because the game is gonna be later on today, so we'll see. I totally forgot today was the Super Bowl, but okay. Then as we keep on going through the benefits, it breaks you down with training available, special benefits. It talks about the Montgomery GI Bill active duty. And it gives you the information there. Veterans may be eligible for this benefit if they entered active duty after June 30th, 1985, are honorably discharged, did not decline MGIB in writing, and served 3 continuous years of active duty. So there is justification for the MGI Bill. And that's a different one. Then you have the GI Bill resident rate requirements. And it gives you a breakdown. A VA must disapprove programs of education at public institutions of higher learning for payment of benefits under the post-9/11 GI Bill and stuff like that. The student must live in the state where the school is located, regardless of the student's formal state of residence. So that's basically like saying, I live in California, but I want to go to NYU. Just because my school is in NYU, and basically, let's say I have that hybrid where I can show up in class or I can show up online, but my school is, because I'm trying to get that New York BAH, you won't be able to do that because it's not your state that you reside in. So you have to be able to show that you reside in that state or have an address in that state to do it. Have to have an address in that state. Application process, it highlights it here. Most of it is through the VA. The thing I like about this guide is that this guide is giving you the links and phone numbers of where you got to reach or where there's more information for you to obtain from it. Home loans. So this is another benefit that veterans have that some veterans don't use. and they need to start using. Not having to put down a down payment is a change most veterans don't know. When buying a home, you don't have to put down a 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever amount of down payment, you don't have to put it down. That's changing. It also is a way to start if you always wanted to get into real estate. This is something that you can do. This is an avenue you can explore to get into real estate using the VA loan, because the VA loan can be used multiple times by the same veteran. There's no limit to how many times you can use it. There are certain requirements, criteria of being able to have two at the same time, but there's like small justifications to allow you to do that. Otherwise, you could just have one out at a time. Biggest thing I've seen with veterans when they get into real estate when it comes to this is you go out, use your VA loan, as long as, remember, you got to be able to afford it, have the credit and all that stuff. You go to a townhome. It could be a townhome, 2 houses. You live on one side. You have to reside in that place for at least a year. Then after that year, they move out. They rent that place to another person. Now you are renting 2 places and they are paying off your mortgage. After that, you can refinance that. Use that money that you get off of the refinance. And if you get money back or whatever the case, go and start another VA loan and rinse and repeat. Remember, you got to have the money to justify it and the money to pay for the stuff still. But it's still way people get. It's a manner of people doing it. That's just me. That's just me thinking of how people do it. I've seen people do it that way. Some people do it with multi-level homes. So let's say you have like one of those 4 apartment complexes. You live in one, you rent out 3. Those 3 people are probably paying your mortgage already. Well, after a year, you move out. Now you got 4 different properties that are paying you passive income, paying down your mortgage. Because once that mortgage is paid down, that's passive income you're making with no problem. You're doing it like that, rinse and repeat. Same thing happens. It's just like you just have to be able to make sure you can justify paying for it and taking care of it. Still got to manage the property and stuff like that, but get into real estate. So home loan guarantee, the VA loan guarantee program assists eligible veterans, active duty service members, certain surviving spouses, and members of the reserves and National Guard to obtain, retain, and adapt homes in recognition of their service to the nation. Home loan guarantee uses, tells you what it is. So it can be used to obtain a loan to buy an existing dwelling or build a home, buy a residential condominium unit, repair, alter, or improve a residence owned and occupied by the veteran, refinance an existing home loan, buy a manufactured home and or lot, and install a solar heating or cooling system or other energy efficient improvements with a purchase or refinance transaction. I think I gotta check the electrical, think it's in here because I use the electric efficient or energy efficient mortgage clause that they had, and I was able to use that when it came to when I purchased my home to be able to redo my windows and stuff like that. And it was put into the loan where I didn't have to pay out of pocket. Just got to do the justification, either be audited or broken down by an electrician showing that, hey, if this person improves their windows or if they install solar panels to a certain amount, because there's certain things you can do. If this happens, how does this improve the cost of home? Well, your energy expense is going to be this amount less and it'll cover this amount. They see that it's going to cover, or you're going to make more money off of the fact that you have this. That's justification for them to say, yeah, we'll pay for this through the loan because of the fact that we know it's going to save you money, which means you should be able to pay this loan off. Home loan guarantee eligibility breaks it down, gives you the link, more links. However, it is possible to apply for a certificate of eligibility using form 26-1880, a request for a certificate of eligibility or VA form 26-1817, request for determination of loan guarantee eligibility, unmarried surviving spouses, because that's also a benefit that they can use. You can file that and you get that information because that's what you're going to need to show that you are eligible to use the VA loan. The same way you get that with schooling, you need to be a certificate showing that you're eligible to use these benefits that are going to help pay for a home or pay for your education. Credit and income qualifications, in addition to the periods of eligibility and conditions of service requirements, applicants must have enough income and credit and agree to live in the property to be approved by a lender for a VA home loan. Surviving spouses gives you the breakdown of what the requirements is to have the eligibility. Also, more information on home loans. Home loan guarantee limits. This is basically, if you go onto this location and you click on this link, it basically has a breakdown of counties throughout the United States. Each county has a certain amount of limit for it, and it depends on what it is you're getting. Is it a multi-dwelling home, a single family home, stuff like that? Because if I click on this, it gives you a breakdown, but what it basically does is it takes you to the va.gov site, and then it gives you more insight for you to be able to break down that information that way and see it that way. So you're able to see what's going on, what the information is, and then it'll give you a breakdown of how much is allowed per county, because each county has a different amount. Because if your cost of living is higher, that means, okay, affording housing is going to be a bit more. So they take that into account. Home loan guarantee, closing costs for purchase home loans. Payment in cash is required on all closing costs, including the title search, recording fees, hazard insurance premiums, and prepaid taxes. Home loan guarantee funding fees. This is what's there. The funding fee is a percentage of the loan amount collected to offset future anticipated costs associated with the loan. A funding fee must be paid to VA unless a veteran is exempt from such a fee. Currently, exemptions from the funding fee are provided for receiving most of the time. See, I love when I see that, because it's just like, interesting. Really? You don't say. And that's what I like to see when we're doing this, because the thing is that means you just learned something you did not know about. And that's what I like to see, because then that means you're learning something that can assist you. And that's the whole thing about this. So home loan guarantee and funding fees. The funding fee is a percentage of the loan amount collected to offset future. And got this. Veterans and service members receiving a VA service-connected disability. Most of the time, if you are a veteran with disability, you don't pay the funding fees. The fee may be paid in cash or included in the loan. For all types of loans, the loan amount may include the VA funding fee and energy efficient improvements up to $3,000 based solely on the documented cost, or up to $6,000 provided the increase in monthly mortgage payments does not exceed the likely reduction in monthly utility costs. And that when they talk about this, the energy efficient, there is something that if you are applying for the VA loan, it is called the energy efficient mortgage. It is a part where, like it says, if it's an improvement up to $3,000, most of the time, if you can just put that this is what it is going to do, this is the cost of it, they'll be like, you know what, you can put this into your loan. If it's up to $6,000, from there, you will need an electrician to come in, survey your home, see what the price and the energy is cost, or show what the energy cost has been prior to, because of having, let's say, older windows. So you want to use this clause to update all the windows in your home. You do that, you have to provide that stuff, and then from there, you literally have that $6,000 is not something you pay up front. That $6,000 that will be inserted into your loan. So now your loan is $6,000 more, and it's still the cost, and that's how you're going about it. This is where I tell people, home loan guarantee required occupancy. To qualify for a VA home loan, a veteran or the spouse of an active duty service member must certify that they intend to occupy the home. A dependent child of an active duty service member also satisfies the occupancy requirement. When refinancing a VA guaranteed loan solely to reduce the interest rate, a veteran only needs to certify prior occupancy. See, then it goes into the financing, interest rate, and terms. VA guaranteed loans can have either a fixed interest rate or an adjustable rate, where the interest rate may adjust up to 1% annually and up to 5% over the life of the loan. VA does not set the interest rate. Interest rates and loan terms are negotiable between the lender and the borrower. Assumption requirements, liability, VA assistance to veterans in default, the repayment plan, special forbearance, loan modification, short sale, deed in lieu of foreclosure. This is another one that most people did not know: the Service Member Civil Relief Act and home loan guarantees. Veteran or active duty borrowers, may be able to request relief pursuant to the SCRA. To qualify for certain protections available under the Act, their loan must have originated prior to their current period of active military service. SCRA may provide a lower interest rate during military service and for up to 1 year after service ends. Provide forbearance or prevent foreclosures or evictions up to the 9 months from period of military service. So also with the SCRA, this is good for service members because it reduces the interest rate on your credit cards. I say again, it reduces the rate on credit cards for active duty service members also, because that's what it does. Because it's basically saying you had this credit card or whatever before your time in service. So now that you are in service, we are making sure that your interest rate is being reduced to not cause an extra burden because of you serving this country while you're on active duty. And that's why it gives you the stipulation of certain amount of time and then after you've left. But that's something that a lot of veterans still don't, a lot of active duty doesn't even know about that's information that's there. That's something you can use. This is something that is, the SCRA is something that's very beneficial to people. Very beneficial to people when it comes to reducing interest rate and doing it that way. Because if you're paying less, you're saving more. Assistance to veterans with VA guaranteed home loans. Assistance to veterans with non-VA guaranteed home loans. VA refinancing of a non-VA guaranteed home loan. So basically, veterans with non-VA guaranteed home loans have the option to refinance to a VA guaranteed home loan. The veteran may obtain a VA cash out refinance for any existing mortgage loan or other indebtedness secured by a lien of record on the home occupied by the veteran. The amount of the refinancing loan may not exceed 100% of the appraised value of the property. All fees and costs, including the VA funding, may be included in the loan amount. However, any portion of fees and costs that would cause the refinancing loan amount to exceed 100% of the appraised value must be paid in cash at closed loaning. So this is basically if you are doing a refinance or if you have equity in your home, you are able to refinance that way and do like a cash out refinance, which is basically, hey, I have, let's say, $50,000 in equity in my home. So now your home went from being 300,000 to 350,000 because of the equity. You would be able to refinance or basically take out that cash out refinance. So basically try to get that 50,000 in equity to try to either invest it, put it back into the home, whatever the case may be, and use it that way. Other assistance for delinquent veteran borrowers, preventing veteran homelessness. Veterans who believe they may be facing homelessness as a result of losing their homes can call Aid Vet or My VA 411. The service is free, confidential, and is staffed 24/7 with trained counselors who can connect homeless and at-risk veterans with the nearest VA medical center for help, which is also different programs that go through like the HUD-VASH, which is for homeless veterans. And that also, I believe, is one of the criteria you need. So let's say you are filing a disability claim and you need it to be processed faster. That would be a priority processing because you may become homeless because of it. VA acquired property sales, loans for Native American veterans. Eligible Native American veterans can obtain a direct loan from VA to purchase, construct, or improve a home loan on federal trust land or to reduce the interest rate on such a VA loan. That's for Native American veterans, and that's there. We spoke about life insurance earlier, so now this is just a continuation. Because this document is like about 120 something plus pages. We're just going through it, but like I said, if people have questions, ask. It doesn't have to pertain to what we're going through. This is basically on Sundays, we do these workshops to do that. Just basically, we have a topic, we're going through it. But as people have questions that you saw, like the first hour of the workshop was basically answering questions and making sure people have an understanding of what's going on. Then we do that. This last on Friday, we just had a veterans benefits Q&A. So for those, it's just, hey, I'll sit around. I'll probably be working on the Vetawarenessproject website. And as you ask questions, I'll go ahead and answer. The workshops are meant on Sundays to make sure we are showing people a specific topic or different topics or different answers to show. The Q&As are basically strictly, we're making that Q&As. You want to ask questions? Those will be the days. If it's for workshops, you can still ask questions, but we're going to try to do this because I'll be getting off track sometimes. And it's just like, I don't plan on doing these for many hours because shit gets painful. But and it's a Super Bowl this week, so at least got to watch the game, even if I'm not rooting for either one of the two. But VA life insurance. So these are the multiple ones. VA life insurance benefits that are open to new applicants include the SGLI, which is a service members group life insurance, veterans group life insurance, family service members group life insurance, and service members group life insurance traumatic injury protection, veterans affairs life insurance, and the veterans mortgage life insurance. I didn't fucking know there was this many insurances. I heard of the SGLI and the VGLI. I didn't know there was a FGLI or a TSGLI or a VA life or a veterans mortgage life insurance. All new information, but the complete details and the forms, you click on the link and it takes you there. This is where you'd be mailing most of the stuff to. This gives a breakdown of what the SGLI does. The following persons are automatically insured by law for $500,000 under the SGLI. And that's one thing I know they've changed recently because the maximum before was only $400,000. They upped it to $500,000 now. Most of it is for active duty, commissioned, some reserve and stuff like that. Members of the Ready Reserve National Guard who are scheduled to perform at least 12 periods of inactive training per year. That's basically making sure you do it throughout the year. Full-time SGLI coverage is in effect during the periods of active duty and for Ready and Reserve and National Guard members scheduled to perform at least 12 periods of inactive duty training per year. Part-time breaks that down. The traumatic injury protection. TSGLI provides payment to traumatically injured service members who have suffered certain losses due to traumatic injury. The TSGLI benefit ranges between $25,000 and $100,000 depending on the loss suffered. Breaks it down there. Same thing with the FSGLI, Family Service Members Group Life Insurance Coverage. FSGLI coverage provides coverage to the spouses and dependent children of service members covered by SGLI. So basically, this is a coverage that if you have SGLI, your family can fall into the FSGLI. Which, why not just give it all the same thing? I just work here, y'all. I just work here. FGLI provides up to $100,000 of life insurance coverage for a spouse of a service member with full-time SGLI coverage, which cannot exceed the amount of SGLI the service member has in force. So basically, you can have the spousal coverage is basically you can have your wife. So if you're on active duty most of the time, if you, let's say, are at that 500,000 mark, you can also take a clause for $100,000 on your wife or your spouse, basically. Premium spousals, and it goes through that. The online enrollment system does that. Oh, wanted to make an announcement. This is something I just read about yesterday. If you are filing for Chant VA, which this I know it's somewhere in here. If you are filing for Chant VA, you can now do it online. You don't have to mail the shit in no more. You don't have to fax it anymore. You can now literally fill it out online. It was one of the bigger complaints that was being had because of Chant VA, where it's just like, man, I gotta mail this shit in. I gotta fax this in. And mind you, if your shit is messed up, they're not gonna know until they check it. So you are best off calling, give it like 2 weeks once you submitted it. Make sure that, it arrived. Then from there, you'd be able to call and be like, hey, I just wanted to check up on this. And they'd be like, oh shit, we ain't even, my bad. Oh, you're approved. And that's how it happened with me. I was just like, oh, really? That was just like, so y'all would have told me, I would have waited those 6 months to find out when it didn't take that long. But it is now online. So you can fill it out online. You can still do it through paper, still fax the information. But if you want to, you can fill it out online. That's a big, big win. Dependent child coverage. It's $10,000 automatically provided for dependent children of service members insured under SGLI at no cost to the service member. So each child that you have will get an automatic $10,000 life insurance while you are covered by insurance. Veterans group life insurance is renewable group term life insurance coverage available to service members who recently separated from service and had SGLI at the time of separation. Service members have 1 year and 120 days from separation to apply for VGLI. However, if they apply within 240 days of separation, they do not need to submit evidence of good health. Service members who apply after the 240-day period after separation from service must answer health questions and may be required to submit proof of good health. Veterans can apply online by submitting SGLV 8714. The maximum initial VGLI coverage available is equal to the amount of SGLI coverage held at the time of separation from service. So let's say you only had 100,000, that's what you're going to be covered for at least. So you can get, if you were at 500,000, you can try to obtain that. So SGI disability extension. Service members who are totally disabled at the time of separation, unable to work due to disabilities or have certain statutory conditions, can apply for the SGLI disability extension, which provides free coverage for up to 2 years from the date of separation. So this is something I didn't know about this. Those covered under SGLI disability extension are automatically converted to VGLI at the end of their extension period, subject to the payment of VGLI premiums. Accelerated death benefits. Like many private life insurance companies, the SGLI, FSGLI, and VGLI programs offer an accelerated benefits option to terminally ill insured members. So basically, when they know they're terminally ill, you can request to get some of that ahead of time. All terminally ill SGLI and VGLI members are eligible to receive advance payments of up to 50%. Yeah. So this is there. This, did I add it to my, I had to double check to see if I made sure I added it to my Google Drive. Did I share this? Share. Okay, so this is I have it on my Google Drive. That's the link to the Google Drive to this document. So after this, once I'm done, if you want to check it out, make sure to save that onto your phone. You have it. That is a document that is basically off of the Google Drive that we have for the Veteran Awareness Project, just for us. That's strictly just for the veteran awareness stuff. And that's the same place where we have all the VA forms, all the DBQs, everything that we're putting into the website and all that. That's where it'll be located, so that you have that visibility. So you have the accelerated day benefits of Veteran Affairs Life Insurance, which is the VA Life is guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance available to all veterans aged 80 and under who have a disability rating of 0 to 100% with no medical underwriting and no time limit to apply. Veterans who are 81 or older and apply for VA disability compensation for a service-connected disability before age 81 and receive a rating for that same disability. The maximum amount of coverage per applicant is $40,000. The Veterans Mortgage Life Insurance, VMLI, is decreasing term mortgage protection insurance available to service members and veterans under 70 who have severe service-connected disabilities and receive a specially adapted housing grant from the VA Loan Guarantee Service. SAH grants help severely disabled veterans rebuild, remodel, or purchase a home. Remember that they have those different grants, which is to either widen doorways, install a rampway in your house, just change stuff, or for some you can even grant, you can retrofit your bathtub so that it may have handles or it has wheelchair accessibility for you to get in there and shower and stuff like that. So keep those in mind. Additional life insurance program. VA continues to administer several closed life insurance programs for World War II and Korean era veterans with active policies beginning with the letters V, R, S, W, J. Some of these programs offer cash and loan values, and some pay dividends. For more information, there you go. And this is for World War II, Korean era veterans. This is information you can use. The phone number is 1-800-669-8477, and you can inquire about that for different life insurances if you are strictly a World War II or Korean era veteran. Then we go into reemployment rights. We might end it. Yeah, I think we're gonna end it here because what does it go to next? Okay. Let me just skim through and see what else we have here. Might not take too long. We can just continue with it. This is more homeless veterans, so that one we're going to take our time going through. So we're going to read this last one. We'll go through this, the reemployment rights, and then from there we'll probably just end it for today's workshop. So our uniform service reemployment rights includes reserves and National Guard. The Uniform Service Employment and Reemployment Rights Act provides for employment and reemployment rights for individuals who left civilian employment to enter service in the uniformed services. These individuals are entitled to return to reemployment after discharge or release from their service if they gave advance notice, did not exceed 5 years absence, submitted a timely application, or did not receive a dishonorable or punitive discharge. This is basically just like, hey, if you deploy, like let's say I had a teacher I know when I was in high school that happened. They were in the reserves, called back up, they had to suit up. But they got their job back when they came back. I wasn't there when they came back, but they got their job back when they came back. Some come back from that, some don't, and they go different avenues. And that's what it is. So we are leaving off on page 65 on this. We'll get started on the homeless veterans part, which I think is an important part that needs to be spoken about so we can help get rid of homeless veterans. We want to make sure that they're in a home, they're taken care of, they have the facilities they need, they have the assistance they need, whether it's mental health, whether it's healthcare, whatever the case, we need to make sure that's being taken care of. So that's one thing to also look into. So we went over a couple of things today. Let's kind of summarize this. Because it has numbers, it has phone numbers. But we went through stuff. So today we basically covered education and training. We went through home loans, we went through life insurance, and then we also went through the reemployment rights. So that's what we covered basically on the second half of the workshop, where we went over these topics and just went over it. The beginning, we have our conversation of all these different questions that people have. And that's, like I said, this is what we want to continue to do. We have our website. Like I said, that's working on, slow process. I apologize. I'm doing this on my own, so I'm trying to work it as best I can. These workshops every Sunday, we're going to do them. We're going to continue to do them. This is to help veterans. This is to get them information. This is to make them aware of their benefits and what's available to them. Throughout the week, we have our little quick tips, which it'll be happening, I think, twice a month, twice a week, you'll have quick tips. So it'll be just quick tips that'll be posted Mondays and Fridays. Wednesdays, we'll have our Did You Know video. Sometime throughout the week, we'll do a pop-up stream Q&A. On the weekend, we are trying to work it that we do a little gaming community. Not sure what the games are going to be. It might be sports games. It might be military themed games. We might do that. And it's just for veterans that, hey, if veterans play video games, which I know a lot of us do, and we just hang out and it's a way to de-stress and get our minds clear and stuff, we're gonna be doing that. Um, we'll do all those different things, but and then we're working on just posting videos and stuff like that we need to put out more information. We've been slacking on that. We've been slacking. So we're going to work on those things as we keep on going throughout the year and just try to grow as best we can. But as always, make sure that if you find this information useful, make sure to like the videos. Make sure to go back into the video, watch it again. Leave a comment of a question you may have or something that was said or something that was answered. Leave comments, leave questions so that way I know what veterans are looking to get answered. So that way, come next week, I have a list of all these questions and maybe we can start off the week that way. So that way it's just like, hey, start of the workshop is like, hey, these are the questions I received throughout the week from veterans. These are the answers that we gonna get. These are the answers I get you because I'll take the time to look into it and try to get you an answer. And we'll go through it like that. And if not, just tune in the next week and get you an answer that way. 12 noon Central Time. We do this on mobile and we do this on PC or TV. You have access to it on many ways. We do this on TikTok also at the same time. Sometimes we do it on Facebook also. Try it Instagram. We try to do it on different things. It's just like I don't got the resources to stream to everywhere and it look good at the whole time. But we'll continue to do that. Annette, thank you as always. Everybody that tuned in, thank you as always. Members of the channel, thank you for supporting me. Thank you for supporting this program, this project, this organization, basically to try to help assist veterans. I appreciate y'all, and I can't say that enough. And I think that's all I got. I don't think I have anything else to share. If y'all got, like I said, any questions, comments, need a document or something like that, let me know, or check the website. Or like I said, leave a comment on just to upgrade the website. Go to the contact us page on the website, go to it, click on, make suggestions, send an email out to the Veteran Awareness Project so that we can get fixes and see what we got to work on. As always, be good to one another, take care of one another, look out for one another, love one another, and stay marvelous while doing it, y'all. I'm just Cruz. This is the Veteran Awareness Project. This is the Veteran Awareness Project Workshop. We hold them every Sunday. I'm glad you were here. Hopefully you got something out of it. I will see y'all on the next time. Definitely see y'all next Sunday and sometime throughout the week. Y'all have a great day. Watch some football. Go do a little grilling or something. Make some nachos, all that good stuff. Enjoy your time with some family. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I will see y'all on the next one. Y'all take care, all right? Peace.